Oh, I think I finally got away from that psychopath. He had a knife with him. Oh, I don't know what's gotten into him lately. Seems like all he wants to do is kill me.
Really? I saw you run to your room. Like, that was a terrible high spot. Alright. Listen, let's just go talk in the living room, alright? Alright, sorry, I've been real moody lately. I've been thinking about going to the doctor, sort this out.
That's probably a good idea. Can you also stop by the store and get me some new underwear?
Hey, I know I gave you a bad sequel last time, but, I'm a threequel. I mean, third time's a charm.
Oh, Fear 3? I don't know about this one. You know how I felt about the second game?
Play or die.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever bought something that turned out to be better used for something other than its intended purpose? Like duct tape. I use this all the time, and I have never put it on a duck before. What about cell phones? They can pretty much do anything, and yet I have a hard time making actual phone calls to people. Pipe cleaners are now used in children's craft instead of cleaning out tobacco pipes. And what about your $1,300 gaming PC that you just use to browse Reddit? The point is that is what the Fear series has turned out to be for me, and that doesn't mean I like it either. Before you watch this video, go check out the other 2 videos that I made on the Fear series because this video spoils the story for both games as well as spoilers for Fear 3. With a title like Fear, you'd think, okay, this game is probably going to be scary. I mean, it's advertised as a horror shooter game. Nope, let's break down the title. First, Encounter Assault Recon, not Fear poo-poo pants and can't sleep at night. The first game in the series I quite enjoyed. It had that old 2000s game charm as well as a good balance of creepiness that lived up to a title like Fear. Number 2 is just Call of Duty with a naked lady showing up every once in a while. The third game is just Call of Duty, except instead of a naked lady, it's a skinny naked thing. Fear 3 can feel like a firm welcome back handshake. Or a cool amusement park ride that you wait in line for, and as you get up to the front, it turns out you were in the wrong line. The amusement park baited you. You actually queued to ride the bathroom. Let me explain. Fear is labeled as a horror shooter, and it delivers on one of those aspects. It is not scary pretty much at all. It is a pretty good generic shooter though. If you liked Fear 2 and the change of direction, you will like Fear 3 because it's pretty much the same thing. But if you want scary, spread your legs and take a nice shot to the ball. The gunplay in Fear 3 for the most part is pretty good, however some guns feel weightless with little to no recoil and weak sound design. Watch me shoot this rocket launcher. I get it, Point Man is supposed to be a super soldier, but you know who else is a super soldier? That guy. You can only hold 2 weapons this time, which you'd think would be a bad thing since in the previous game you could hold up to 4 weapons, but I mean it was just whatever. I wasn't really bothered by it. There weren't really any guns that stood out to me. I mean, they were all relatively the same. Even the dart gun I liked so much in the previous 2 games came back, but it just wasn't as cool. You could pretty much use the SMG for every fight. It has range and does well with close combat. Plus, almost every enemy uses it, so you never run out of ammo. Fear 3 introduces a new cover-based combat system where you can snap onto walls and other objects to take cover behind. It wasn't real great in my opinion. I always felt limited in my movement, plus the combat is fast-paced. I felt like moving constantly was to my benefit. Plus, when I did need to take cover behind something, I would just crouch, which still allowed me to keep my full range of movement. Cover-based combat isn't terrible, just not my preferred method. Throwing grenades is actually awful, like really bad. You have to just line up as best as you can and then your character just yeets it. The slow motion ability is back, but I found myself forgetting about it more in this title. It was enjoyable when I did use it though. The AI for the most part wasn't great. Yes, I did play on a lower difficulty, but that shouldn't mean making the AI brain dead. They either stand there and wait for you to shoot them, or they just rush you and French kiss your bullets. Not really any strategy or tactics involved, just a mindless shooter most of the time. Oh yeah, and the mechs are back. Yay. Okay, I admit it, I did enjoy blowing stuff up in the mechs, but giving the player that kind of power detracts even more from the fear elements of the game. I like it, okay, but I have to hate it too, I just have to.
Well, I'm done, this is a bad video.
Shut up, Steven, and get your fingers off the goddamn keyboard and you keep watching.
There is a point system which I did not understand at all until the very end of the game. You can level up by completing in-game challenges every mission, and as you level up your character, you get in-game buffs. Challenges like getting a certain amount of kills with specific weapons or collecting dead bodies with your psychic senses. The best part about the point system, and I kid you not, is it determines what ending you get. Sky, I sense some sarcasm. Good, because this is kind of stupid. I would reckon that most people play through the game solo the first time, and that means, ding ding ding, Point Man always wins, because that is who you always play as solo the first time. Yeah, this game is designed to be played through with a homie. Listen, I love the idea of co-op games like this, but I don't think this is how they should have gone about doing it. What if you don't have a homie? Are we just gonna shame all the lone wolves out there? After your first playthrough, you can play as Fettel, who is super broken, but also shakes up the gameplay. He plays different from Point Man at first, allowing you to shoot red energy at enemies and also being able to possess their bodies. It makes you feel like a badass fighting a bunch of dudes and then instantly possessing an enemy and killing his squad mates. Once you possess someone, you then play just like Point Man, minus the slow-mo ability. The level design is pretty cool, with a few levels that I quite enjoyed. Fighting in the Costco warehouse place was cool, as well as being able to live out one of my childhood dreams of having a secret fort on the shelves. The suburban area was neat too, going in and out of houses that were at times creepy. Hey, did you just say creepy? I thought this game wasn't scary. Things can be creepy, but not scary. Spiders. Spiders are creepy, but I'm not afraid of them. There are also multiplayer modes that are all dead now, so I'm not going to talk about them. I have heard that they were fun when they were up and running. That's just cons of playing a game that's 10 years old, I guess. The story here boggles my mind. I thought it was just too dumb. Like I just mentioned, there are two endings. Whoever gets the most points is the favorite son. The characters aren't real great, especially Point Man. He is super bland, and throughout the whole game, you don't really know his intentions. Is he good? Is he bad? He's working with Fettel, but is he a bad guy? Who's the bad guy? Game, please, just tell me, who am I supposed to hate? Is it Alma? Am I supposed to feel bad for her? I don't know. Like, I really just don't know. How come both endings, one brother dies and takes the baby? Yes, in the previous game, Alma raped a guy, we will talk about him in a second, and got pregnant. But I thought this whole journey was trying to kill the baby, because the demonic abomination shouldn't be allowed to live in this world. Also, look, Point Man was just about to pop a cap in that baby incubator, but then he takes the baby? Alma just evaporates in one ending, and Fettel eats her in another. Couldn't both brothers just raise the baby together? Ever think about that option, boys? Maybe there's some lore that I'm missing out on, but according to the Fear Wiki, 1, 2, and 3 are canon, so why do I feel so lost? Hello, hi, Future Sky here. I just want to interject and say that if we're talking about retconning things, I tried to play through Fear 2 Reborn, the expansion for Fear 2, but it kept crashing my computer, and obviously I didn't really look into it until now. Shame on me. But it turns out at the end of Fear 2 Reborn, Fettel possesses somebody and is no longer a ghost. He is reborn. He comes back to life. But in this entire game, he is just a ghost and possesses people in and out the whole time. So, like, did they retcon that too? I don't know. What started out as a cool concept just became some nonsensical poopy, if you ask me. Also, back to the guy who got raped, Beckett from the second game. We find him for some reason, I guess to ask if Alma is pregnant, and then Fettel just blows him up? An entire game dedicated to this guy, all for 30 seconds, and a boom. That's it? I mean, I guess you could argue Beckett lost his mind, but is this really the way to go about giving a character closure? The real bad guy here is Harlem Wade, and yes, we already established him as a big bag of dicks. I thought this skinny demon was your unborn sibling because we need to stop Alma from having the baby. Nope, it turns out that this thing is how Alma sees Harlem Wade. Yes, he is a dick, but he died in the first game. The final boss was pretty boring too. You just move around and shoot this thing's face. Also, who is this chick and why did they make a big deal about her? I'm just so lost. Am I the only one here? Better plot for this game? Hear me out. We're already spending the whole time trying to find Alma and kill the baby. But why not base the final game choice on whether you decide to kill it or not by maybe having some events that happen throughout the game that would sway you one way or the other? You already have flashbacks and lots of other weird things happen, so it's not like it would be out of the ordinary for your unborn brother or sister to talk to you, or even your own mom for that matter. There is so much potential here, and for some reason they just shoved it way up their buttholes. Okay, I think we need to take a step back and look at what the hell happened to the Fear series, because it started out as a well-mixed batter that could have been cooked into a beautiful cake, but all we got was poop. We got poop! Fear 1 was made by Monolith Productions, and then stuff happened and Vivendi took over and made Extraction Point and Perseus Mandate. Monolith got Fear back and made Fear 2, and then handed it off to Day One Studios for Fear 3. It sounds like a mess to me, and obviously the series has changed hands throughout, but because of that, we have two different timelines, with the Monolith timeline being canon and the Vivendi being retconned. There could have been many issues to what the hell happened, dev issues, timeline constraints, budget, disagreements amongst team members, who knows. And the more I've learned about video game development, the more I feel a little bit bad about bitching on games like this because, I can't make a video game, and I understand that there is so much more that goes into making video games other than just coming up with a cool idea and executing it. That being said, as far as the fear aspect goes, they just missed the mark trying to be scary. What makes things scary? And for the third video in a row, I'll try to explain it. Well, it's subjective to individuals because everyone has their own personal fears. What do all humans have in common? Imagination. The ability to create things in our minds. The easiest way to scare people is to let them create their own fear. The fear of the unknown. Ever noticed in a movie, once you know what the monster looks like, it's less scary? Well, that's because humans aren't really scared of the known, and it takes away that self-imposed fear that you created. The monster is usually less scary than whatever you had conjured up. A combination of the unknown with sound to immerse the player and giving just enough information visually to craft their own personal fear like lighting, level design, props, etc. is always the most effective. Where does the Fear franchise have issues then? Issue 1. Alma is the overarching villain. We know what she looks like and what she does, so we have a known. It's already less scary. Issue 2. The game doesn't give you any time to breathe or let tension build save a few locations. In the Costco, at points it was actually creepy, and in the suburbs as well. But it was almost too late at that point because you go from fight to fight to fight that when you do chill, you just expect more fighting. Here's an example. This epic reveal of the cultist doesn't give you time to process what just happened. As soon as you kill the first couple, more immediately blow a door down and you just keep fighting. I'm not saying that I'm an expert in the horror department, but I do know when something is scary and when it isn't. Think about Resident Evil 7. You spend the first 20 minutes of the game wandering around this creepy-ass house, and then you end up finding your wife who has been missing for 3 years, and the whole thing just feels off. The game lets tension build and lets the players start creating what-ifs and asking who and why. Keeping the player in the unknown is how to keep them in a state of fear. In this game, it doesn't even give you 10 seconds to create anything other than another bullet hole in enemies' heads. What could Fear have done different? Change its name to Call of Duty. I'm just kidding. Kind of. I don't know, maybe have a few bigger scares with tension buildup as opposed to what it did have, which was just a bunch of smaller scares that happen more frequently. One thing that the second game did was have monsters that lived in a place called the Uncanny Valley. Something that is close enough to looking human, but gives us an eerie feeling. You know it isn't human, but it's close enough. This puppet monster, for example, or these crawly things that even just the way they move around is creepy. The dog monsters aren't creepy, and the cult people just drew on their face with Sharpie. I don't think it's very hard to creep people out. Just divert their expectations and let their mind do all the work. Even me just showing you these pictures on screen and talking about how creepy they are with this scary music playing can freak you out. You feel as your hairs stand up on the back of your head. You feel like somebody could be standing right behind you. Then you turn around and find that nobody was there. Damn, I don't know, just sit in a dark room, okay? You can freak yourself out that way. The point is, it's the unknown that scares people, okay? You gotta... The Fear games aren't terrible. They are playable with fun shooting mechanics and great action. But they are terrible horror games. That's what bums me out the most, is they are labeled as horror. If you are going to be an action shooter, just be that. That is what you are, and that is okay. Just to be clear, I don't hate Fear 2 or 3. I hate that they aren't scary at all, but they are fun shooters. I guess the reason I'm most upset is because Fear 1 had the creepiness down and was well executed. It lived up to its name. Then they tried something different with 2 and 3, and I just personally didn't like it. If you have never played 1, then 2 and 3 are probably amazing to you. But because I have played the first one, I dislike 2 and 3. You've changed, haven't you? I bet we've all heard someone say that to us before, and it may or may not have triggered some angry feelings towards said person. But that is because we as humans do not like change, despite how much we say we do. Gamers, albeit the weird breed we are still humans and are no different. Just give me the same experience you gave me the first time with just a little bit of change. Not throw it all away for what's trendy. If I want to play Call of Duty, I will go play Call of Duty. I wanted Fear, but all I got was Call of Duty 534. If you go into Fear 3 wanting an awesome shooting experience, you are going to get it. If you want creepy, remember, spread the legs, kick to the ball. I admit, prior to playing Fear 3, I thought Point Break and Perseus Mandate were just DLC for the first game. I didn't realize that they were almost standalone titles. Maybe I'll play both of those and do one more video to wrap up the Fear series. One day.
Hey man, this prequel was ass.
Just like what you eat every day now. Get the f*** out of my room! Ever since I got this damn painting of this hot elf chick, I haven't felt the same. This is all your fault, you beautiful blonde-haired bitch. I'm having a bunch of headaches and I'm pissed off because of you!
You are mine.